Good.
What when it moving Alonzo back?
Just looking at some things, a lot of different things with the bullpen and how we're constructed. A lot of things. Jeff Escobar. Sometimes you look at how the other team views them, but it's kind of where Pete's fine anywhere. He likes second. He likes third. He likes fourth. He likes playing. Not a big fan of DHing, but that might be coming around. Done pretty well DHing. No, it's just looking at their bullpen and looking at some things that we can do off the bench that fit best for us tonight.
What were your thoughts on the tiebreaker when that rule was first changed? And now that you're in it, how do you
Not a whole lot. Don't spend much time on it. It's about trying to win 9 innings tonight, 10 if it's needed. Those things. People, you can spend a lot of wasted time thinking about it and talking about it and whether it should have done this, should have done what it means. I don't think guys really. It's one of those things that were done a long time ago and for good reasons. Being on some of those competition committees, once you hear some of the behind the scenes things, you see why they got to that point, whether it be rule changes. These things have been working on for 2 and 3 years. So I'd be surprised if things like this, if you really got deep into it, you'd see a lot of reasons why they considered it as such. One is obviously to keep the season and the playoffs on schedule. I'm sure that's got to be a big part of it. What do you think? I don't know. What is the?
Just an extra round, so they don't have much time.
They wanted more TV, right?
Well, you said it. I didn't. Maybe we just. The one I can't get used to is people now call it a tournament. Isn't that NCAA pool or something?
There's a bracket now too.
Well, they've been pretty successful with that bracket and pool and all that stuff. So maybe I started hearing it a few years back. Somebody from the front office dropped the tournament. Well, we get in the tournament. I go, I guess. How many teams in it now? 10?
Yeah,
12.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Trying to be the last team standing. We do know that we're going to get an opportunity.
Buck, with Marte, besides being a very good player, his profile is hard to replace. What he does, speed, what he does from the number 2 spot. Is that just kind of a spot in the lineup you've tried to, you have Lindor there tonight. Is that kind of effective? When you
it's been a challenge, but nobody wants to hear you tell a woe. They've had it over there, and other teams, Philly's had it. Everybody's had some challenges along the way, and because of the games dwindling and the sense of urgency, things like that sometimes get magnified. But it hasn't been a topic of conversation in our clubhouse because they know that's not how we had to be wired from the first day of spring. Had to be, whether it be Louis or just about everybody in that clubhouse, with a couple exceptions, have had to take some time away. And we're hoping that Starling can present himself as an option in the near future. I haven't gotten a whole lot of update today, but it's proceeding. That's about the end of it. It's proceeding. But yeah, it's a good player. One of the best players in the league, and he's having a good year, and we'll get him back. So are the people that are replacing him.
Well, because of your style of play, is his loss particularly difficult for you now?
Joe, I'm uncomfortable talking about that. That sounds so much like an excuse, and it's not. That's who we've been all year, and that's who we'll continue to have those expectations to have somebody pick up the slack. Whether it comes from pitching, whether it comes from defense, whether it comes from offense, and we've been pretty good at that, and we need to find a way to do that again. Because it's not a given, it's not a given win.
Sorry. And there's different ways to build a lineup, and the Braves are very home run dependent. You guys are less home run dependent.
Depends on what night it is, and if a guy will make a mistake, we can't make them make mistakes. They've been pitching real well.
You guys said for a higher average team. Come the postseason, do you think either style?
We're going to change ours completely. we're going to.
Is worse or better, I guess. Some stats maybe argue that home runs are more useful in October.
Yeah, and you can make them look any way you want to. And, if you're real good at one thing, you kind of try to slide the curve that way. It's all relevant. You play the skills of your players, and whether you acquire them as such, you do have to play defense. Okay, and that ball will find you. So usually guys that are good defenders and hit for power are in demand. But there's something to be said. We've won a lot of games and been it's a fascinating thing, I'm sure, for fans who debate both sides of it. But we are capable of hitting the ball over the fence.
Do you anticipate any roster moves before the game?
I don't think so. You know something I don't know?
Well, you've had some relievers.
No, we're in good shape physically because we shortened everybody up a little bit. You know, with Lugo, I want to make sure he was available tonight. I wanted to get Pete out there last night, and it's tough. You know, I think someone of y'all was asking me the other day, we're trying to win a game, put our best foot forward. We're also trying to make sure we have as much grasp on some of these starters turned relievers. It's hard.
Is that the what you're trying to find out right now about your bullpen?
Nothing right now. Not, you know, believe me, you're not going to find out in 4 games. Okay, really. I mean, and let's face it, those guys that we're talking about are probably going to be starters for us next year. So
Yeah.
this is about the here and now, and trying to put our best foot forward.
With Peterson, when you look at he'll have a handful of relief appearances.
Mhm.
The numbers in that small sample will be whatever they are.
Mhm.
What do you look at when you're evaluating his ability in that role?
Well, kind of how you would use him. It's more left on left,
Yeah.
you know, but he does have the ability to get that in today's game because of that rule that nobody really gets. You really asking yourself about left-hand relievers, can they survive the Riley in between the 2 left-handers? You know, can they keep them in the park? So you look at things like that, and can you trust them? And you're not going to answer those questions, Tim. You're not going to in 5 days or 10 days. Anybody thinks you can. You do take that information in and try to make a good decision, but you know, anybody tries to tell you they know for sure what's going to happen when the playoff lights go on, they're kidding themselves.
With the Drew Smith, is this about what he looked like before the injury?
Knock on wood. I tell you, we're like I said the other day when Drew had the outing back there. I thought that we may have gotten one piece back. Well, who knows? Could be looking in a different direction. Sometimes guys make a mistake and somebody hits it, and doesn't mean they're not going to be a good pitcher in the future or not going to be again. It's just that's why we play the games. You don't know. You don't know.
With a potential first-round bye on the balance too as late as Wednesday, how do you handle the between starts work for a guy like Scherzer who could have 4 extra days?
He'd be fine. You know, Max is very disciplined. As soon as he sees the day that he's going to be committed to, it's kind of the reason we set things up like we did. And I was thinking the day we were out with Francisco was throwing to the bases, and I was out there with him, and I just looked at Max's out in the outfield. I mean, that's how quickly. What a great example. I was thinking, he turned the page last night, whatever it was, and he's moving on to his next start, and he's preparing for the next one. And he'll come by, and he knows what's going on, and he'll say, okay, this is the day I got. Am I right? And I go, yep, that's the day you got. And then he'll start everything getting ready for that day. So I don't worry. Like we sent Walker and Carrasco back. They should be back in New York by now.
Similarly with the Grom, maybe pitching Wednesday, maybe not, depending on the circumstances. Do you and Jeremy basically tell him plan on Wednesday until told otherwise?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was out there with Jake too.
Yeah.
Not the.
In the day of the 1-game playoff, you might, like this last round, the starters might be guys who you put in the bullpen if you need to win a game, right? Because you're not as short of a series. Do you do that here? Like, as guys, is Max available if you need to win a game?
On Wednesday?
Yeah.
I wouldn't take that out of the realm of possibility. One of the reasons, last night, guys want to finish that inning last night. They were just a pride thing, and if he hadn't taken so many pitches to get the hitter out before, I would have probably let him have Rosario, but you never know what the future is going to bring. So that was one of the reasons why I didn't want him to finish the inning, and that was about where he wanted to take him. I thought he'd empty the tank there. He had told me before the inning that he would start it and see how it went, and so we had Lugo up. And the problem with that is you got to get Lugo up for the second hitter because he might get out there and warm up and something's. So that's why Lugo had such a short outing. We had to get him up for a long outing. We didn't know if it was going to be short or long. Those are the 20,000 things that go on during a game that I wish I'd keep them all for you one night.
I wouldn't know if Bassett's work day is Tuesday or Wednesday. Would he become a factor?
Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. The only thing that can throw a crimp into all that is the weather. Because, Tuesday doesn't look real good right now. But we all know about predicting weather 5 days in a row.
We do
You
now.
couldn't ask. I tried to tell y'all, being the hurricane guy, just hold on, trying to predict the hurricane 6 days in advance.
You're a hurricane guy?
You're better. Well, I grew up in them.
Self-described, yeah.
Yeah, not self-described. It's been in
Other
a lot.
people
It's
describe
been
you.
in a lot of them. You ever been in a hurricane?
Yeah.
I have been. You ever sit in a room when the tornado's outside? That's scary stuff when you can hear it.
Should teach Puma.
Yeah. I had I sold a house 2 weeks before the hurricane flattened it. Felt awful. Called the guy, said, "Hey, I feel awful." So I said, "Oh, don't worry about it. I got great insurance." They're scary, man, and they're so unpredictable. I love how they said there's the exact path it's going to go on. Atlanta was supposed to be underwater by now, right? Maybe it'll turn around and come back. Who knows?
Be a big surprise.
It will be. They don't do that. They don't do that.
One more reliever one. What's Gibbons'
Labor?
reliever?
Oh.
What's Gibbons' status right now? Michael?
Day to day, he's available to be activated. Whether or not he takes another sim game or not could be a possibility. We haven't talked. Yeah, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. We're gonna have a late arrival for everybody tomorrow, so telling nobody's allowed in the locker room for a certain time. We're gonna get to bed 4 or 5 o'clock tonight. Hopefully, typical getaway game in Atlanta.
Not the Braves' fault this time, I guess.
Well, no, we actually picked up 15 minutes. Usually we've been playing at 7:20, right?
Yeah.